Okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the July 9th, 2025 Board of Supervisors meeting. Hope everybody's having a great summer. Please, I call this meeting to order, and please join me in a moment of silence. I think we should all be thinking about Texas and the loss of life there. At least that is what I personally will be thinking about. So let's have a moment to consider whatever is in your heart. Thank you. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to get right on to the Joint Municipal Sewer Authority appointment. First thing we're going to do is have a motion, if I could get a motion to remove the Sewer Authority Board appointment from the table. Do I have a? Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Any from the public? Hearing none, I'll call the question to remove the Sewer Authority Board appointment from the table. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Okay, next, I would like to consider a motion to actually take Craig Deutsch off of the appointment list. Is that how I do it properly?
Yeah, Madam Chair, you would ask the maker of that motion to withdraw their motion and the seconder to withdraw the second, and then that motion would be removed from your consideration.
Do you recall who made the motion and seconded?
I do not.
Mr. Fisher, Madam Chair, Mr. Fisher made the motion, you seconded.
And I was prepared to take the motion out, to take the motion back.
Okay.
Withdraw your motion.
Withdraw.
Withdraw. Okay, very good. So we have that, do we have a motion to remove that?
Well, I don't think we need a motion to
don't have to.
renew.
I'm sorry, everybody.
If the motioner withdraws the motion and the seconder withdraws the second, it's then
Okay,
no longer before you and you can move to other business.
very good. So then we consider a motion to make a point.
You have to remove your second.
Oh, I removed my second.
There you go.
And I'm sorry about the confusion. It's a little confusing.
That's somewhat of a different
Yeah.
procedure than we're used to, but that's quite all right.
And then we're going to please consider a motion to make appointments to the Sewer Authority Board. I would like to say that my term ends at the end of this year. I am not going to step down prior to that. I don't want to leave the board in disarray. We will fill the empty seat of Linda Bobrin at the end of the year. I will step down. I will not ask for reappointment, and we will then appoint somebody new. So, do I have a motion to make an appointment to the Sewer Authority Board?
I make a motion to nominate Dennis Fisher to the
Thank you.
Sewer Authority Board.
I'll second that motion. Is there any discussion from the board?
Well, may I say something? Dennis, you said you were going to fill it in an interim until the end of the year? Is that it?
Yes. Upon consultation with myself and my family, we thought
And
would be best.
I think in your application, you made it known that you would uphold the what the board considers to be a dead issue is the wastewater treatment plant project, right?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
But technically Dennis doesn't have to resign because the appointment goes until 2029. So come reorganization, if he still wants to stay on, we don't have to vote for 2 members, but just 1 member. So then, I mean, if he does want to resign, that's his prerogative. But technically, he is taking a position that ends in the year 2029.
And I think it's palatable for, well, certainly for me, I think for most members of this board, that we entrust our supervisor, Dennis Fisher, to do exactly what he said, and I think he's a perfect replacement at this time. And
Thank you.
yes, thank you for stepping up. We had a problem, we found a way to fix it, and I hope it's amenable to everybody. So, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion from the board? Any from the public? Hearing none, I'll call the question to make an appointment of Dennis Fisher to fulfill the empty seat on the Sewer Authority Board. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, everybody, for putting up with that. Sorry, it was a little mess,
I
but
apologize.
got it done. Okay, public comment. Anybody wishes to make public comment, please state your name, where you live, and feel free to come up.
Valerie Mahalik, a Newtown Walk. I'm not sure if you're aware, but the pedestrian crosswalk signal is not working.
Yes, we are aware.
Is that intentional, or did something happen to it?
It's a malfunction, we're working on it.
Because I know the Center Island, they still have electrical work to do. We were told, but I wasn't sure why, if that was connected to that, or it's a separate issue. So it only worked for
Yes, and I think we'll let our engineer respond to that, if you may.
Yeah, so it's still an active construction site. There's still things that the contractor needs to finish up. My understanding is
Right.
finishing up the connections and some signage and things like that. So once that's all in place, hopefully by the end of this week, there'll be more of a complete project, but it's still an active construction right now.
Is that why it was turned off, or did it malfunction?
I'm not aware of a malfunction, but they're still working on it. That's why it's not active right now.
So just so you know, when they come out, it was working fine, and then it just stopped. It doesn't work at all.
Okay.
We are aware.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question related to that? Of the
Not at
engineer,
this-
maybe? Okay.
This is
all right.
public comment, yes. Anybody else with public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to minor approvals. Consider certificate of appropriateness for 255 North Sycamore Street. Ms. Donaldson?
Is anyone here for that?
Okay. Mary Donaldson, Vice Chairman of HARB. The Historic Architectural Review Board reviewed this application, and we recommend that you approve the amended application for exterior painting of the building and for signs in the front and the back. The application included, that's why it needs to be amended, some etchings on the 4 front windows, and we liked them, but you can only have 1 sign. So if they seek zoning hearing board approval, we don't want them to have to come back to HARB for us to say, yeah, we still like them. So that's our recommendation.
Understood. Thank you. Is there anything else you
Oh,
want to talk
yeah,
about?
and other business in HARB, we've been discussing a way to be able to enforce the neglected properties in the historic district. And we did speak to Anna, the code enforcement officer, about that, and she was able to get some places to clean up their lawns, but we just wanted something uniform. And I think, I could be wrong, this will take some research, but I think we used to have, I mean, it must still be there, we just don't know anymore. But Ellie Campbell used to have a clipboard, and she used to be able to tell people they had to fix things. So, a little research, maybe this already exists. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question or two?
You can try me.
Regarding the certificate of appropriateness, I think it said that the HARP told them, and they were told they could not have two of these placard signs
No.
in the front.
No.
And I think it said the additional signage, if they wanted that, would require zoning relief, but
Yes.
that they would no longer seek that approval. Is that correct?
I don't know what they decided to do. They left the meeting saying they would talk about it and see whether they wanted the second sign and whether they wanted the etchings on the windows, which count as additional signage. And I guess they never sought the additional signage, but if they do, we liked it. So we don't want you to make them come back.
Okay, I'm just reading your report. Said the applicant indicated that he would no longer seek approval for the second sign, which is the melange
Yeah.
sign, but would apply to the zoning hearing board for the window etchings.
Yep.
So what are we voting on? If they're going to go to the
Just
zoning
the-
hearing board,
they
whether
need a
we
certificate
oppose
of-
that?
We're,
at the-
no, we're
need
just
a
voting on the certificate of appropriateness
For the
for,
new colors and the size of the sign.
Okay, but in any case, HARP found these etchings acceptable, right?
Yes, if they had zoning relief to have 4 signs.
And so what happens at the zoning hearing board? Does HARP is a participant in that hearing, or what?
No, we wouldn't be.
Wouldn't it be?
No.
Does
You-
the Board of Supervisors have a position at the zoning hearing board for something like that?
You always have the opportunity to take a position on every application, but no application has been filed yet.
But we're not dealing with that right now? Correct. Okay, thank you.
These would be that glass etching directly into the glass, not a decal. It looked lovely, but
okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, do we have a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness for 255 Sycamore Street?
Madam Chair, I'd suggest, subject to compliance with HARB's memo dated June 11th, 2025.
So moved.
And I'll second it.
Thank you. Any other discussion from the board? Any from the public? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Which brings us to reports of boards and commissions. I just want to say that planning hasn't met in quite a long time. That is why there is no representative here. Well, you're here, yes, but I mean to talk about any meeting. We haven't had a meeting in the past month, right?
There's no report that's been filed.
Yeah, okay. There's
No
no report.
report.
Right. That is just, I'm asking
here
a
if you
question
need
that was
me.
asked, why Ms. Driscoll isn't here. And that's
Mrs.
what I'm
Driscoll's not
answering.
available tonight, that's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you.
And we met July 1st, and I sent in my report. No, we did not meet July 1st.
I
Our
know.
last meeting was the second meeting in June.
Right.
It was 2 zoning apps that you had already seen.
Correct.
This happens every summer.
Yes.
We're off by a week, so you
Okay.
get the zoning apps before we do.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. As far as my report, first of all, I want to say thank you for an agreement on the sewer authority, because it would be irresponsible to strip the sewer authority of 2/3 of the township representation when, that's half. That's just about half. So thank you for letting us get this done tonight in a reasonable manner. I would like to congratulate the police on their accreditation once again. We are very proud of our police and what they do for us, and I expected no less than them receiving their accreditation. So thank you, Chief. Thank you for all you do, and it's a wonderful thing that you do it year after year. Chief Forsyth received accommodation from both Congress, the State Senate, and the House of Representatives at their meeting 2 weeks ago. 50 years of service is what Chief Forsyth has given to this community. 50 years of service. I think that deserves something really special for that kind of commitment to our township. And I just want to thank him and all the other members of the fire department that received honors that night. I was very proud to be there for it, and we should all be proud of all our emergency services. That is what we do. That's what supervisors do. We protect the health and welfare of our community, and everybody in elected offices are showing them that they are achieving that, and we should be very proud of that. On June 24th, I was asked to speak at a bridge dedication on Wrights Road for Warrant Officer William McDaniel, a Newtown resident who never came home from the Vietnam War. It was a very inspiring moment. It was wonderful. There was a Huey helicopter flyover, the only Huey left from that era. And again, he was a Newtown resident, so I thought it very satisfying to us. It was inspiring when his family spoke about it and when other people spoke about it and all the elected officials. So I want to thank whoever is doing the bridge renaming for doing this for us, because this is certainly deserved. Okay, moving on. In our budget this year, money was allocated to the fire. It's my report.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In our budget this year, money was allocated to the Fire Protection Fund in the amount of over $790,000. That can be utilized for equipment or personnel. We can and should use this money to hire 2 additional firefighters before this budget season ends. And all we have to do that is create a line item, and I'd like to talk to all my fellow supervisors to get them to agree on doing that at our next meeting, so we can tell our fire services to please look for 2 firefighters to help complete the mission that we're on, which is, again, protecting our community. They are seriously hurting, and they had to put a truck out with 2 people that it wasn't very satisfactory for anybody. A very old person, a very young person, but there was nobody to man this truck. We can't have that happen. It resulted in, a delay of them getting there. There's been instances when, there's been bad fires, and we haven't been able to get there in time. So we made a promise, and I certainly made a promise, to make our fire department whole, and I would like to keep trying to do that year after year. And that's all I have, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a very short report. I was on vacation for a week and a half during this last month. So I did attend the Sewer Authority meeting yesterday afternoon, along with a number of people in this room. And I guess the highlight of that was the Sewer Authority passed their budget for 2026. And there was no rate increase involved in that. I believe, I don't know, Mr. Mack and I were talking about it this afternoon, if the budget's been posted on their website, but that was certainly the intention, to have that done. So that's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Mack.
Thank you. On the 23rd of June, I had my Meet Mac Monday Zoom meeting. About 30 people registered to attend. We discussed things like the appointment of the Newtown representative on the Sewer Authority Board, billboards in Newtown, pedestrian safety, road work, all the important stuff. Registrants had a lot of questions, and I'm going to pass them on to the manager at some point for specific problems such as the intersection of Newtown Bypass and Summit Trace Road, which I did discuss with the Newtown engineer regarding PennDOT's response to our traffic study that we did there. I also attended 2 of the Newtown Sewer Authority board meetings, and the 2 major issues were they are coming up with a new policy for public comments, and that should be ready to be voted on in August, or they said September, perhaps. I'm interested in seeing that resolution. I did file a right-to-know request for the budget, but they beat me to it and put it on the website. So you can read all about that on the website. The other meeting I attended was the 26th June Creek Bridge, Newtown Creek Bridge presentation, the plan. It was very interesting, and I had a number of questions. One of them was this bridge spans the creek, and I think they said it's 7 feet above the normal level of the creek, but 2 feet above what is the ordinary flood level. Now, we know these days there's no ordinary flood anymore. And someday, I don't know, I hope not, will our creek rise 29 feet in 15 minutes? That bridge would be gone. And so I hope that doesn't happen, but just saying. But one of the more interesting things was I talked to people, they mentioned, the engineer, they mentioned that along the bridge there are places for signage. I don't exactly know what the signage will be, but they also mentioned little, not cutouts, little islands off the path where people can have a bench and sit down. And I asked them, well, maybe we can put up a mural panel on these islands. I remember Barbara Simmons came here once and we discussed mural panels on the bridge going across the Newtown bypass to the George School, but the George School won't allow that. And but maybe we can have some mural panels along this bridge. And they did say there's going to be another public meeting for more resident input. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just like to note, I've been remiss, I didn't announce that that Kyle was not here tonight, and sorry about that. You could see that, but I should have announced it at the beginning. He's on vacation. Mr. Calabro, anything? Okay, thank you. Okay, down to public hearings.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There are 2 joint municipal zoning ordinance amendments before the board this evening. The first one, they both require public hearings according to the municipality's planning code. First ordinance amends the joint municipal zoning ordinance to add provisions governing electric vehicle charging stations. That ordinance has been through the Planning Commission several times. It's gone to the jointure for amendments, revisions, et cetera. It's finally come full circle, has been advertised, and is before the board for consideration this evening. Would you like to put a motion on the table, discuss it, and then open it to public comment?
That's what I will do.
Excellent. If the board's of a mind, it would be a motion to adopt the joint municipal zoning ordinance amendment regarding electric vehicle charging stations.
Do we have such a motion?
So moved.
I will second that. Is there any comment from the board?
It has indeed been full circle, I think, maybe a couple of times.
Many times. How many? 4. Yeah, okay. There you go.
Thanks, John.
I think it's as good as it can be right now, and if anything happens in the future, we'll make revisions if we need to. So, seeing that, is there any comment from the public? Hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor of enactment of the JMZO amendment regarding electric vehicle charging stations, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, motion passes 3-1.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mack voted against?
No, Mr. Calabro.
Oh, Mr. Calabro, I apologize. Okay. That concludes the public hearing on that matter. The second public hearing is to consider somewhat of a administrative revision to the joint municipal zoning ordinance regarding notice for zoning hearing board hearings. To date, that process was somewhat long and drawn out and not in accordance with the municipality's planning code. The proposed revisions, the proposed ordinance to amend that provision mirrors the municipality's planning code requirements for advertising and noticing public hearings before zoning hearing boards. Again, if the board's of a mind, it would be a motion to adopt the JMZO or enact the JMZO amendment regarding notice for zoning hearing board hearings.
Do I have a motion to do so?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? I'll second it. Any discussion from the board? Any from the public?
No, I just thought it seemed pretty complicated. I don't even know what that's really about, so I'm going to abstain from voting on it.
You don't know what it's about?
No, I don't.
Notices for the hearing, for zoning hearing board?
It's something to do with the administration of the zoning?
No.
Of the
When there's an
JMZO?
application, when there is an application for a zoning, to appear before the zoning hearing board,
Oh, that's what we're talking about?
yes. We're talking about an application to the zoning hearing board.
Oh, just
The
like-
ordinance provides notice requirements. The existing ordinance requires all kinds of notices with different day, at least 10 days before the date fixed for the hearing, mailing notices to the zoning officers, and it even makes reference to local, or to the joint zoning hearing board, which doesn't exist anymore. This is to fix it up and just make notice required by publication twice in a newspaper and by posting the property, just like the municipality's planning code says. It's very simply to give notice of zoning hearing board applications to be heard by the zoning hearing board.
So, in other words, is to simplify and clarify the regulations regarding that.
The requirements, yes.
Requirements.
Correct.
Okay.
That's my interpretation as well.
Do we do that already, Mr. Solicitor?
I assume that when the zoning hearing board advertises, they follow the existing provisions in our ordinance that are being replaced by this simpler, more straightforward
We're
procedure.
talking about Newtown Township.
We're talking about Newtown Township,
Why do we
correct.
need the jointure amendment for this?
Because these provisions for notice of hearings in front of local zoning hearing boards are contained in the joint municipal zoning ordinance.
So even though we do it already, we have to do something with the jointure on this.
We're going to do it differently now.
Okay.
Based on the amendment.
Mr. Mack still intends to abstain?
I guess I'm okay if it clarifies things. I don't
Okay.
know if it's a double indemnity or whatever you call it. They're running roughshod over us, I suppose. We can't have our own.
No. It's going to apply to all 3 local zoning hearing boards, Newtown included. It's going to make it easier and less less costly to provide notice as required by the municipality's planning
That's
code.
costly. That is a winning strategy right there.
Yes.
I'll vote for it.
Okay, there's no, yeah, I don't think it's very much up for a debate as far as what the content is. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, there's basically just that one paragraph.
Yeah,
Everything else that's current is going to be deleted. They're going to insert this one paragraph.
correct.
It's 3 sentences.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't do my homework, but I appreciate your summary of it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other discussion from the board? Okay, okay. Hearing none, any discussion from the public? Okay, hearing none, I will call the question. Please say aye in voting for, or nay, in voting for the motion to enact the JMZO amendment regarding notice for zoning hearing board hearings. Please say aye.
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 No.
Okay. I was getting to that.
That was a no.
That was a no. Yes. So, motion passes 3 to,
No why it's necessary, that's all.
okay. I hear you. We're gonna try
Now,
to,
apparently nobody did because
yeah.
you voted for it.
No, I know, but
Okay, no, that's all, we're done.
I hear you. But it has, things have
No,
to
no,
change.
I'm assuming we get notification when Upper Makefield and Wrightstown has zoning hearing board application.
Yeah, we may be the last ones.
Because we care about their zoning hearing board application.
Oh,
And they care about
if
ours.
you really want it, Phil, we can arrange for that.
Well, that's the reason I voted no. I don't
Okay,
think it's necessary.
okay.
Understood. Okay. That motion passed 3 to 1. All right, so we're up to our consent agenda, and there's a ton in it, so I would like to open it up this month because certain members of the Board of Supervisors might have questions or might want to discuss some things in the consent agenda. So if that is so, I assume you don't want to discuss the minutes or the bills, or maybe you do. Also, Bucks County Consortium fuel bid, consider the purchase of turnout gear for firemen, consider the purchase of police radios from Motorola, and the financial release for Provgo Pine Good. And if anybody has anything to discuss, as far as the board is concerned, please do at this time.
I do. One thing is, I noticed on the bills list for June 25th, there was a program, Teach Me How to Chat GPT, in the Parks and Rec Department. And it's $73.50. I wish I had seen that. I would have taken that class because I was going to use AI to help me here at the meetings. Maybe I wouldn't have to attend. I just have my AI chat come do it. I don't know if there's any state regulations regarding that, but the other thing, it has to do with that fire, what was that?
Turnout gear.
The turnout gear. How much money is that?
It's $12,008.
12. Why are we paying for that? This is for the Newtown Fire Association. Don't we give them I thought it was.
No, this is for our paid department,
It's for what department?
the paid firefighters.
Paid firefighters.
Township
Oh,
employees.
it's for the paid firefighters.
Yes.
Sorry, I thought it was for the volunteers, which we already give about $250,000 to. So fine, thank you. No more questions?
Anybody else on anything in the consent agenda?
I had a quick question. There was $1,000 for pizza for the summer camp. How many sessions does that cover? How many dates does that cover? Just one? Wow. Must be a lot of kids.
Can we get that? Just kidding. Okay. All right, so I would like a motion then to approve the consent agenda. If anybody can make that motion?
I will make that motion.
Do I have a second? I will second it. We had discussion from the board, discussion from the public, so I'll call the question. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as it stands, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, motion passes 3-1. Okay, thank you. All right, brings us to reports of officials. Engineer? No reports. Does anybody have questions? Go ahead, yes.
No, I just have no report, but I'm happy to answer any questions that the board has.
Okay.
I think I did ask a question previous to the meeting about when the road program repaving would begin, and can you say a little bit about that?
Yep, so we did issue the notice to proceed for next week, so they'll be proceeding, shortly after that, and
There'll
then
be-
going into September probably.
There'll also be like a schedule I used to see for each
Yep, we
street.
requested a schedule from the contractor to provide for the website, so we're still waiting on that. They indicated they'd provide it to us this week, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, anybody else with questions for the engineer?
I had, had a question earlier this afternoon about the lighting, the new street lights. Are they still working on that?
I believe that they're complete, and I know that they're waiting for, there's some rebate information that's going back and forth with the township, so they're complete at this time. Yep.
Great.
Okay. Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Moving on to the solicitor's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Two items we can consider together. They are two zoning hearing board applications. Both involve residential additions. One is a sunroom addition, the other is a shed. Both will encroach into the required setbacks. The question is whether the board wishes to take a position on either one of those.
Right, and might I just say that the Planning Commission recommended without objection that we approve these. So, okay. So,
No action required?
no action
Thank you.
required.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our report.
Thank you. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. General fund balance this evening is $6,369,199. Plan expiration report is before the board with no action required. And this evening, we have Chief Hearn to give his monthly chief's report. Even Chief.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
June 2025 police report. We documented 2,294 calls for service. We logged just over 20,000 miles on our patrol fleet. Month of June was busy. We had 25 arrests. One for domestic violence, one for theft, 8 narcotics, 1 criminal mischief, a forgery, 1 trespass, 3 warrants, 1 out of Lancaster, Bucks, and Philadelphia, and 9 DUI-related arrests. There were 14 cases referred to detectives for investigation and 7 crime scenes processed. 2 of the major jobs were 2 burglaries. One was a package theft from a garage after a FedEx delivery, and the second one was a forced front door to a local residence. We had 61 traffic crashes for the month, 161 traffic citations issued, and 166 warnings. Our truck enforcement worked 3 details for the month of June, 26 inspections, 8 citations, 15 warnings. 3 vehicles were placed out of service, 2 drivers were placed out of service, and 2 vehicles were towed. Notable jobs and significant events. Madam Chairman, you already mentioned about the Newtown Police Department was officially reaccredited after our review on May 22nd and 23rd and determined we were operating under the best practices. The commission met and evaluated the report on June 24th and awarded us our status. This is the 4th time our department has been accredited. And right now, in the state of Pennsylvania, there are 1,200 police agencies, only 189 are accredited agencies. So that's a pretty good rating. And I'd like to thank my police department for all their work, all the officers, all the efforts that they put on daily, every day to make sure this is accomplished and are operating under the best practices. So thank you. Public service announcements. Vehicle thefts, lock your car doors, remove your key fobs, do not leave valuables inside your car, and report any suspicious activity. The Grange Fair is August 13th to the 17th at the fairgrounds, Penns Park Road and Route 413. Expect delays and crowds. 2 things for safety, e-bikes. There are laws that limit operation on public roadways. They will be cited and confiscated. So parents, do your homework before purchasing for your kids. If they don't have pedals, they're not bicycles. Secondly, about an hour and a half ago, I responded to a job in Northampton for a 1-year-old in a pool. I'm responsive. So grandparents and parents, if you have children in your house and you have a pool in your yard, make sure you pay attention to them. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Once again, I just want to say congratulations to you. I would also like to bring one question I've been asked from the community about the Newtown Shopping Center. And that is, what can we do to make those stores safer so that less robberies incur? And my answer to that is normally, I think the police will give you the best advice possible on how to do that, but it's up to you and your store to comply with what the chief is recommending, or you guys are recommending. And do you find that they do ask you those questions and try to do something to help themselves?
Each store has their own specific policies regarding thefts. It's not so much robberies, but they're usually retail thefts
Yes.
involving the stores in the shopping center. So there's no force use. It's properties being taken. Each store has their own individual procedures on how to handle that. They're given guidance and they're given advice by the police department. If they wish to take it, they take it. If they don't wish to take it, it's a loss from their agency and they have to work it out with their insurance agency. My concern is for the safety of the public attending the shopping center. So if you see something, you see suspicious activity, you can call 911 yourself and report that, because a delay in reporting from the store doesn't do anybody any good from our community.
Understood. Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything for the chief?
Regarding those electric bikes, one night I did see several teenagers on electric bikes zooming through the parking lot by Ultra. I don't think they were shoplifting. They were just speeding and yelling things like Yahoo, stuff like that. And I thought it was very dangerous. So it's not just them on the streets. They're in shopping centers and on sidewalks and can be a danger to pedestrians and shoppers in that area.
That's why their parents have to take responsibility for what they purchase their children.
Right, well, we'll have to deal with that. But also, a resident did tell me that there was a tree down in a neighborhood blocking access to homes. It was on the street. I guess if something like that happens, it's the police department can be called, and I know that you got the Public Works Department out there, ASAP. Is there a number people can call in emergencies? I mean, I'm getting flash flood warnings here.
They call 911 or non-emergency police number. It's available. It goes to Bucks County Radio. Our cars are dispatched to the assignment, and if a tree is blocking the roadway, we'll notify DPW to come out and clear it up, or PennDOT, depending on whose road it is.
Do we have a specific flash flood warning that we get on our phones for this area? I know I have an app on the phone that keeps telling me about it, but I don't hear that beeping, warning.
That's put out by County Radio.
It's the county?
County Radio and PEMA puts it out.
So if the Newtown Creek had a 29-foot flood, we would all get warnings about that.
You would hope so.
I would hope so. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. That's all we have under our report, Madam Chair.
Okay. Brings us to our next round of public comment. Anybody? Please state your name and where you live.
How you doing? Ed Merriman, Newtown Walk. As you know, I mean, just a full disclosure, I am running for Board of Supervisors as a candidate. And part of that is I go out and I talk to people. And I talk to potential voters, I talk to Newtown residents. And one of the things I've been hearing repeatedly is, why can't I walk to the post office? Particularly where I live, we're not that far, we could walk to we theoretically could, the distance is small. But until recently, there were no sidewalks. And then the other day I'm driving down and, whoa, there's a sidewalk there. And I was very excited. And so I just wanted to say thank you. You know, it feels like there's a lot of progress being made in Newtown to help revitalize. I think it's the Business Commons area back there, kind of that little corner back there off the bypass. You know, back behind, you know, where the vet is, the Newtown Brewery. And you know, people talk about development when I talk to them. And I really appreciate the fact that, you know, the Board of Supervisors and Newtown in general is working hard to sort of revitalize that area and take a spot that's already been developed and refresh it, make it new and that kind of thing. Because the other thing I hear from people when I talk to them is, you know, that a lot of people don't want more development. You know, particularly the open areas, they'd love to see the open spaces kept open. So revitalizing what we already have developed makes a lot of sense. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
I don't know if you could walk to the brewery yet. Is there a sidewalk? Was there a sidewalk by the brewery? I don't believe so. That's what I'm waiting for.
I'm with you.
Anybody else?
Good evening, everyone. Charles Foyer, Newtown Walk, and I'd like to thank Mr. Merriman for bringing up pedestrian safety and the project that's being near completed at the Newtown Business Commons. And I'd like to remind the public, police, and the board that we went out and got approval from PennDOT to utilize extra funds from that project based on an overestimate of the grant funds. And I think it was $484,000 that we received permission from PennDOT to improve pedestrian safety here in Newtown. And we began, concerned citizens began, and the board approved for our township engineers to begin looking at this. But a short time ago, a couple of months ago, progress on evaluating the 30% funding that would be needed by the township, all progress on that was scuttled. It was basically one night it was shut down. And that doesn't mean that the concern isn't in the township. And I can tell you that the concern group has continued to work on this, and we will, because the Newtown Trail, which has received millions of dollars, is lacking in safety at that point. And I think you all remember me quoting the chairman of the Cemetery Association and their feelings on that. And it's a short section of sidewalk that should be permanent and an 8-inch curb put in to protect where the sidewalk meets the road currently. And Board of Supervisor member Mr. Mack helped me and some concerned citizens make a video that illustrated this, and PennDOT also voiced their approval with the idea of it. So based on Mr. Merriman, my neighbor, and other concerned people in Newtown for pedestrian safety, I'm hoping that we can revisit that and revitalize this program, because the citizens were never asked about raising the 30% funds. The program was just stopped. And that upset a lot of people, including someone from the township who said his dog wouldn't even walk there because of the cars. So I just thought I'd bring this to everyone's attention because I think it should be revisited in light of all the pedestrian safety efforts and funding that's available and that's being used in Newtown Township. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, that brings us to other business. Anybody want to bring up any other business?
Yes, can I?
That's what it says. Yes, you
I
can.
think all of us on the board received an email from PA Senator Steve Santasero regarding applications for a multimodal transportation fund grant, which is what we have been using for the sidewalk project. I was wondering, even though we have a surplus for this other grant, are we able to apply for this new round of grants? I don't know if I asked the manager this or...
We can apply for whatever we want. If there's no project to go with it, then we can't just file an application. We have to have something to file it for.
Yes. The sidewalk going along along the Newtown Yardley Road from where the post office is, so people from Newtown Walk can not only walk to the post office now, if there were a sidewalk, and I know there's this asphalt path, but also a sidewalk that goes to the borough, which I know the senator and our state assemblyman would like to have more connections between Newtown Township and the borough. I don't know if I'm so hot on that, but, you know, I know a lot of residents are. And so there's a use we can do more sidewalks. And I would include that sidewalk in there from, what is it, Terry Drive, all the way to Elm Street, South Elm Street, or whatever it is, where that marks the borough. I don't know how much that would cost. I think the engineer already came up with a cost estimate for that. And I'm just wondering, would we be eligible for another grant?
Given the fact that there's already an MTF grant with Newtown Township, I don't think so. I can't really speak for the state, though. That grant also requires a 30% match.
Right. So, in other words, I mean, we did it before, we can do it again. And if we get the help of Senator Santasero, I know that the Representative Perry Warren is going to have an ice cream party, and what was it, $50 or something like that? Maybe I'll go there and ask him about that, whether the township, can the township and the borough work together on some kind of a grant? And how does that work?
That's sort of up to the board to determine whether you want to work with another municipality.
Okay. Well, I would hope and I would suggest that we apply for that grant. I mean, is it a big deal to do that?
Well, I think it closes at July 31st, is that correct? Yes.
I believe so.
This grant
July
closes
31st, yeah.
at July 31st.
So is that a problem?
I don't know, I don't write the grants or, I'm not sure.
So I'd like to make a motion that we have our engineer apply for that grant for this town, for this sidewalk with the curb from Terry Drive to meet at South Elm Street or wherever with the borough sidewalk.
I would just like to say that I think the board as a whole, made their self known as far as what their feelings were on continuing this. And I don't think we had the votes to do so, so I don't see any reason to pursue it, since the board was not of a mind to do so.
What we had a consensus of was that we weren't going to use what was left over of the current grant for this project, but we didn't talk about getting a new grant. So, I don't know, it's a different story. It's not what we talked about in the past. So I'm offering a different motion for a different grant that I request the township engineer to apply for this grant. Anybody want to second that?
Are we saying that there's a 30% match for this?
How much is the grant? I'll second the motion.
Okay, hearing a motion and a second.
What's the harm in applying for a grant? Is there any harm in it? Then let's do it. You can call the question if it's a 2-2, it's defeated. Then, nobody gets a sidewalk. I'm all for sidewalks, always have been for sidewalks.
I can do it.
I think we should be able to walk wherever we want to go.
for it.
What?
I can go for it.
I can't. Okay. Okay, there's 4 supervisors here. Can we have a motion? We have a second. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Open it to the public.
Oh, public. I think we heard what the public had to say, but please, feel free.
Valerie Mahalik from Newtown Walk. I would like to thank Supervisor Mack and Supervisor Calabro for making that motion. If the importance is to have sidewalks throughout the business commons, I drive that way all the time. I'm a NAC member, so I use those roads often to go from where I live to there. And I don't see a lot of pedestrians walking there. Where I see pedestrians walking is into the borough. Our neighborhood was named Newtown Walk to walk into the borough, to have access to the borough. So if safety is a concern, and the residents from not just where we live, but the surrounding communities want to walk into the borough, as my neighbor Charlie Foyer has stated, that part of the sidewalk is not safe. It's just not. And if there's a grant that can match it and there's funding to make an area safer, I do believe it would be your due diligence to, really look into that. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Oh, sorry. Madam Chair, may I ask you a question? Will if the motion passes, will it result in the expenditure of funds by the township?
Correct, $30,000.
Well, that's if we get
If
Yeah.
we get the
the
grant.
grant, but I'm talking about in applying for it. Will the engineer be required to draw up plans to submit with the grant application?
The engineer already has a whole plan drawn up that was presented to the board for a sidewalk from Terry Drive to Elm. That work has already been done and probably paid for already. So I don't see, writing a grant, I could probably do it. All I needed are the numbers.
I just need an answer to the question because the Sunshine Act does not allow a motion to be made that's not on the agenda at least 24 hours before the meeting that requires the expenditure of funds. If this does, it would have to be placed on the next agenda.
Oh my God, the
Thank you.
Sunshine Act. Ugh.
Well, we don't know if there's an expenditure, do we?
I don't know.
Well, then if you don't know, then the answer's no. Are you trying to make up expenditures?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm raising a legal question.
Let us be sued. We're being sued all the time anyway.
So is there any further action to be taken? Do we need to give direction? Do we need to vote on giving direction to Liana?
We need to vote on the motion.
Yes, well, we had the motion, we had the second.
Do a second.
We had
Motion.
comment from the board, we had comment from the public. Now, I'll call the question. Are all those in favor of seeking out this grant by, has to be in by 2 weeks? By the end of the month? All those in favor, and I'm just going to say that because of we can always explore it. I would not like to do a match from our funds, which we're trying to skimp and save in order to give it to, I think, what's more important to me, which is fire. But that if you're all of a mind that you want a sidewalk there, by the way, I might just say that I would ask, the cemetery, since they are very well off, if they would put their own sidewalk there. I mean, that would be another option that you could ask.
It's not their property. They can't do that. What makes you
Well, it
think
is their property.
No, it is not.
That driveway is not their
No,
property?
the driveway is, but the sidewalk is outside of their property line. You go look in the county maps for property owners, and I'll show you that it's not. Their property line runs right alongside that path. The path is right outside the property line. So they have no right to build anything outside their property line.
So, okay, let's call the vote. All those in favor of taking this a step forward and trying to find out if we can get this grant, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Passes 3-1.
Thank you.
Any other old business? Hearing none, I'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everybody.